Uh-uh. So today the main topic is the optimizing chatbot in the web front-end engineering part. The reason why the web of like optimizing in chatbot is important is because normally a lot of users one uses the chatbot isn't really focused on the 20s. Like the user age is really various. Like example, like 40 years old person can use your chatbot. So, and the thing you have to consider is that you don't think that user have some kind of modern and great laptop. Some people can have really old laptop, and if your chatbot website is making this laptop slow, you have to think about like optimizing as a better way. So first thing you have to improve the performance of the chatbot, you have to think about the API call, the API interface of it. My best recommendation is fetching some kind of fetching API, but with the pagination part. Not only the pagination, but it's gonna be a good option of it. But second option is, I think, fetching the minimal part that user can see it. What I mean minimal part is that if you look at the screen of the chatbot, like if you look at our website, user can only see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 chats, but you don't. So which means that you don't really need 1,000 on chatbot history at the first loading. So you have to think about another way of why don't we just send another minimum chunk of the chatbot history rather than sending the full history of it. But however, our we don't have really time for that, so we just designed the API that retrieves the whole entire the chatbot history. So that was the problem, and to reduce those kind of things to reduce this API call, I only made this chatbot history API calls only the first page enters, because the reading chatbot history requires kind of expensive operation database, and after that I use the cache strategy, that the local storage cache strategy. So even though the API calls, there's no API calls of it, or there is kind of latency of it, the user cannot see the loading, because already cache, if there's already cache, user cannot see the loading, because we can put the chatbot history without fetching it. If there's local storage data, we can just put it into the user UI. So that is kind of really good for using. Even a lot of great chatbot website, they use this kind of strategy. Like even ChatGPT, they use a local storage strategy. And also, the other main problem is that not only API calls, it is re-rendering issue. Web front-end engineering is they use React to manipulate the UI and the logic, the view logic, and the problem is that streaming has to be typewriting, and it has to be looks like typewriting, and this typewriting has to be viewed on the user's web page. Even so, the typewriting seems like seems like some kind of very chatbot. If you look at chatbot, the responsiveness of it, it seems like they are typewriting. So, but there's gonna be more issue of it, because you have to visualize this kind of streaming text in your web page, and that cause some kind of re-renders. If there's re-renders, there's gonna be performance issue of it. So what we did was, we don't really heavily rely on the React boilerplate. We just used some kind of event-based strategy there's of course the custom event in the the browser. Custom event is that if is that if you look at the traditional event system, we click some kind of button to trigger event. But the custom event that is that you can do whatever stuff that doesn't follows the traditional event system. So you can just like sense data rather than not clicking it. So that's kind of good for the custom event. And what I did was there's a custom event, and when the streaming is happening, so there's going to be multiple tags is going by chunk of the word. So if there's like chunk of the word, I send this via custom event and make this manipulate this data, and user can visualize and user can look at this kind of stream data rather than rely on the React boilerplate. And moreover, we use the iframe. If you look at here, I don't know you guys can see or not. There's too much issue. So if you look at my screen here, there's kind of like streaming text, and when this kind of type writing, I don't really make some kind of UI in this main thread. I make iframe that seems like this message box, but under the hood is iframe. I put the iframe of it because the iframe have different render process than our web page. So there's a true render process in our website when this message streaming is going. So we can just reduce the cost of or memory cost of this event. Example, hi. What is programming in one sentence? It doesn't really cost the like very big memory usage because we didn't put all of the logic in the one main thread of the web page. So I think this is like how I optimized this kind of website. So this is it. Have a nice session next time. Bye bye.